my name is Jean Crane, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor at Care to Change Counseling Center in Avon. And actually, we have two offices now in Brownsburg as well. So I'm happy to be here today and excited to get to talk to you about an important topic. So just a little information about me. I'm a mom of 4 kids. And so I have a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, 14-year-old, and 12-year-old. And so the topic today we're going to be talking about is when you have concerns about who your teen is dating. And I am really blessed to be able to say that I haven't had to go through this personally, except if you count when I was a teenager and my mom had concerns with me. But as far as my kids go, I'm very blessed. My oldest son is in a relationship with somebody who I dearly love. So it's not something that is personally relevant right now, but definitely could be. And I know for all the rest of you moms who are out there and dads, as you think about who your kids date, it's just such an important decision that they make. Obviously, it can shape them in really great ways, and it can also be harmful if it's the wrong person. So that's why we're talking about it today. So I want to just start with this. A lot of times we think, so how can I talk my kid out of dating this person? And this is kind of from my personal experience with my parents. I know that when they were trying to talk me out of it, when they were constantly criticizing and telling me negative things about somebody that I might have been dating that they had concerns about, it didn't really help me. And here's why. Because then whenever they would be bringing these concerns up, I would become very defensive and I would be defending that person that I was dating. So I was hearing myself constantly saying great things about this person that might not have been the best choice. So I want to encourage you as you're thinking about this to think this way. How can I talk my kid into talking themselves out of being in this relationship? So you really want that internal motivation that they begin to realize this is kind of what I'm looking for and this is what I'm not looking for. So to start, I just want to start with something that's kind of a preventative thing. If you have younger kids and they're not into that dating stage yet, you could probably do something like this. I think it's just a great idea for all teenagers. And that would be that you help them, or you have a mentor, a life coach, or somebody else in your life help them to write a list of the things that they're looking for as far as characteristics in somebody that they would date. And so if they're writing it, but they're not yet in a relationship, then they can think idealistically and they can make this list, and also a list of red flags. What would be some things that might be concerning about somebody that you are dating, and just have that list ready. Kind of go over that. If they're not in a relationship, then you're in a good space to be able to go over that and add critique or give some other ideas to add to that list, and then kind of have that list ready to go. And the reason why it's good for prevention is because then when they start dating somebody, they can compare that person to the list and see if it's something that, this person is kind of meeting those characteristics that they wrote down, or if they're not. And it's something they wrote, it's not something you wrote. So in a way, they're invested in hopefully finding somebody that meets that list. And I'm not saying that they're always going to be able to look at that list and decide whether the person meets it, because once you become infatuated or excited about a relationship, or you're involved in that relationship, it is really hard to think logically, as we all know, because you have all these hormones going on, these feelings of connection with that person. So that's why, again, it's important to have the list beforehand and then be able to talk through that with them. So that's kind of a preventative thing. Here's what I think for parents. It's a tip that I talk to parents about all the time. And that is that it's very important to keep communication lines open with your kids. And I just want to encourage you to do every single thing possible to make sure that you are asking them good questions and that you are learning the art of listening. Because your kids are so much more likely to talk to you about things if they feel comfortable and connected and communication is open. And I do know this is hard, especially when, I'm a 45-year-old. I probably have a little more life experience and understand the world a little bit more than my 17-year-old. So I would love to share every single thing that I know at this stage in life with them. And I hope that I can do that, but I don't think it's great to just constantly pepper them with lectures and your ideas and your thoughts, but instead to really ask them questions. So communication with your teen is really important when you're thinking about helping shape who they date. You want to ask good questions. I think asking them questions like, what is it that you like about this person? Looking for good things in the person that they're dating. And then what are there any concerns? What do your friends think about this person? Just kind of getting into their head with genuine interest, not only just with an agenda of trying to manipulate them into breaking up with this person, because they will probably see through that if you have an agenda. But if you're truly asking those questions, saying, I want to get to know this person, I want to know what you think of this person, why is this a good fit? Tell me about your relationship. Sometimes they end up talking, and when they're sharing, they realize, there's some things that are kind of concerning, and they're saying it, not you. And so they're more invested in taking action and doing something different when they're saying it. Another thing that I hear from teenagers a lot is that my parents, or I have to be honest, a lot of times it's moms. My mom is not confidential. She shares anything I tell her. She shares it with my aunts, my grandma, everyone in our extended family. She tells her best friend. So I don't feel comfortable to talk to my mom because it's not confidential. So I would say this is a really important one. Very important that you're not going around bad mouthing this person that they're dating maybe, or telling anything that's been told from your teen unless they've given you permission. Because again, that's going to keep those lines of communication open if they feel like you're going to be confidential and this isn't going to be shared all over the place. So ask good questions, be a good listener, keep things confidential. Let's talk about listening for a minute. So I am as guilty of this as anyone else, but I think that technology can sometimes get in the way of our listening skills. So if you want to talk to your teen, if you want to have a great conversation with them, maybe take them out for dinner, maybe just one-on-one if you have multiple kids, and then put your phone down. Lay it upside down. If you need emergency calls, then upside down, it'll ring if you need it. But all the texts and all the stuff that comes through, you're not paying attention or distracted. So you're really making eye contact with them, and you're in their proximity, in their space, and you're showing them that you really care in that moment. So being a great listener also includes the things that we talked about before, keeping people out of it, so you're not sharing that with anyone else. I do really think it's important though for marriages, like if you're a mom and you're hearing something, never make a secret that you will not say something to their dad. I just think that's really important because these kids need to know that you guys are a unified front, so they are both going to hear anything that you're talking about. I think that's important. Now, I want to add a caveat real quick. If there is a safety concern for your child in a relationship that they're in, if you know that they are being abused or hurt in a certain way, this is different. And this is where I would absolutely 100% say you need to step in and make sure that this relationship is over. Obviously, we have to keep them safe. So this wouldn't be a situation where you're just asking questions and trying to communicate with them, but this is a situation where you are intervening because you need to keep your child safe. So please hear me when I say that. All right, a couple of tips that I think could be helpful in these kinds of situations. One is that we all know this, that kids often listen to other people in their life more than they listen to their parents. So if you're like me, I've definitely had where I've told my kids something and then someone else comes in and says the exact same thing, and they come home like, Mom, it was so great what our youth pastor said tonight. And I'm like, yeah, that is great. Inside, I'm like, yeah, because I've tried to tell you that before, but you heard it from them. So I think it's great for kids to have a mentor. If they are open to that, I would work really hard on finding them somebody who's not one of their two parents and who they can share things with. And again, that mentor might be able to speak truth into this dating relationship more than even you as a parent can. And I know for me, and maybe that's why I'm saying this personally, I have had a mentor in my life who really helped me see that I was not in a good relationship. And I really want to thank her for what she spoke into my life, because I needed to hear it. Even though my parents kind of agreed with her, I wasn't listening as much to them, but I did for her. So to me, finding a mentor, you can do this preventatively or in the middle of it. And that isn't just something where you just hook your kids up with somebody else as a mentor, but really getting there, saying it too, like, hey, how would that feel to talk to somebody? And a mentor can also be a counselor. So a lot of times at Care to Change, parents bring their students in and are talking about just things going on in their life. And a counselor can be that person too, who's somebody who is kind of outside outside of the family system and can share things that are important for that teenager to think about. Another tip is something I read a long time ago in an author named Bob Goff wrote this story, but I thought it was so great. So there was a teenage girl who was dating this boy, and her parents were not happy about it. They did not think this was a good relationship, and they kept arguing over this. And the more they would say, you should break up with him, the more this teenager would say, no, I'm totally in this. I love this guy. You know, he's my all. And it just felt like this huge problem. Well, what their family did was they went on a mission trip to Haiti and they worked with orphans in an orphanage. So they took a week away and they went somewhere to serve together as a family. And what happened in that moment was that teenager all of a sudden found a much bigger purpose than just dating. She realized that there were these orphans in distress and that she could do something about it. And she came back and she started this ministry and raising money. And all of a sudden, this relationship kind of dissipated because the guy wasn't all about it. He maybe wasn't necessarily the greatest partner for her. And she decided, what am I doing? Like, there's so much bigger things going on. Why am I dating this person that's kind of dragging me down? So that's another option, is just exposing your kids to things that are great, like greater purpose, serving opportunities, things that really matter in light of eternity, things that give them a greater purpose. And then this is last but absolutely not least, a huge tip, I would say this to any parent, is pray. And I know I was really blessed with two of my friends. When my oldest son was in kindergarten, we started a prayer group and we're still praying together. And we started doing this book called The Power of a Praying Parent. And so every 2 weeks we get together, we read a chapter, we, have a list, an ongoing list of prayer requests for our kids. We pray for them and come back together. And man, it's been 12 years. And we have seen so many things that the Lord has done, answers to prayer, ways that he has protected them, things that he has done to help. And so I absolutely 100% believe in the power of prayer. If your child is dating somebody that you don't think is a great partner for them, a really crucial component would be to ask the Lord to help this student see this isn't the right thing, or to break this relationship off, no matter how he does it, as long as he is intervening, if that's supposed to be. So hopefully some of these things can help you as you're thinking through what in the world to do. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming and sometimes feel very anxiety provoking in the middle of it. I think it's important for you as parents to have support systems in your life who are praying for you and, speaking godly wisdom into your life too. So I don't feel like you're alone in this. Another just quick thing is that, relationships, you either get married or you break up, but the majority of relationships in high school break up. And I know we're not just talking about high school, because college and beyond that too. But it's not inevitable that your child is going to end up marrying this person just because they're in a relationship. And maybe there's something that they can learn out of this relationship too. So thanks for listening. Please come to our website, caretochange.org. We have a podcast that we're excited about with all kinds of topics. Please follow us on social media. And of course, we would love for you to come in and see us if anything that we talked about today kind of strikes a nerve with you and it would be helpful to talk it over. We'd be happy to see you. So thank you. Hope you have a great day.